Okay, right now it's 30 minutes after midnight in the West Coast here, so it's basically 3:33 a.m. on the East Coast, and today is August 2nd, 2017. I thought I'd do a quick post-earning analysis on Apple and also look ahead a little bit on Tesla and see what the price movement might one expect for Tesla after the close today. It is scheduled to report earning. So let's take a look at Apple first, and then we'll take a look at Tesla. Okay, you can see Apple. I have pointed out here on this rectangle here on the potential price movement for Apple, and these are based on the option market prices, and I just take some prices and calculate those things. It's not exact, but it's give you a pretty good approximate where the target price might be. Okay, as you can see, the projected upward move is about 155.53, and the downside is down to 143.46. That's about a 4% move. Okay, and if we go and take a look at the after hour, actually Apple made a little bit more than 7% move. It went as high as 159.90, and then it closed in after hour at 159.50. So, but that's a pretty hefty move. So essentially, it came up to near this 127, the 127 extension here. Remember the scenario that I talked about on last Sunday video, that we're expecting one of the scenario was for this thing to bounce back up, right, and come to this 155.98, and then maybe bounce a little bit and then shoot up and go to this 159.73. And essentially, that's pretty much the scenario that it went to here. And right now, with the OPEX coming up on Friday, and also there's a quite a high level of open interest at 157.50, and I wouldn't be surprised we're going to see some fade tomorrow after the open, and maybe fade back down and chop around, because also there's a pin for tomorrow. Let me see the SPY option expiration the Wednesday, and we're projecting 247. So it's probably going to be a little bit of chopping around at that 246.50, 247 and change, and try to pin it at 247. So Apple cannot be running up too high, otherwise it will bring that S&P up too high, because the Apple is part of the S&P 500 index, and they also have a lot of weight in there that could influence that particular index movement. So that's why I'm kind of looking for this thing to maybe pull back a little bit, and I wouldn't be surprised that we'll see Apple pull back down to that somewhere around that 157.50. The other possible pin number I have is 150, and that would be a heck of a pullback. 150 essentially pulling back where it is right now. We're closed yesterday, so that unless the job report on Friday came out and the reaction is very negative and we have a big sell-off, then that's could be a possibility for Apple to come down to that pin at 150. But right now, I think based on the open interest number that I have, the 157.50 is more likely, and it also makes a little bit more sense after the positive reaction on Apple earning report. So essentially going to look at this thing, maybe just tomorrow come up, open up, and then kind of fade back down, and throughout the next couple of days it's just going to chop around here and maybe pin it at 157.50 somewhere. So wouldn't be surprised that may pull back here and do like this, kind of test this high a little bit, right? So that's Apple. And if we take a look at Tesla, okay, Tesla is actually the option market is actually projecting a plus or minus 7% or a little bit over 7% move, or plus or minus 22.97. And right now the range is somewhere around this up here, this 345.85 on the top end and 299.90, so somewhere around 300 on the low end. Okay, so we're kind of expecting that maybe because right now also we're looking at this bear flag. Remember I put out a chart and mentioned about the bear flag yesterday on Twitter, and also last weekend video I also talked about this potential bear flag and could bring it down to get it below this 290 back into the zone here. Because if we take a look at the major move of the bear flag, and I'll just use this, so the 100% major move level is down here at the 263.68, and this 78.6 close to the 80% mark is somewhere around 281.62. So you essentially, you know, the 80% is somewhere around this 280 level, right? So basically looking at that 280, and that's pretty much down at this gap here, filling this gap. So I wouldn't be surprised if Tesla have a negative reaction to its earning. It would come down here, maybe even undershoot the 300 level and come down to this 290 and then chop around and eventually trace itself out down to this 280 or even down to the 263. And if there's a positive reaction, then it probably come back up and fill this gap. And remember, I will also say, even though it come up and fill this gap, this bear flag still could be in play because we still got a little distance here. So it could come up here, fill this gap, and then come back down and break this bear flag here, and then work itself back down to that 290. So the positive upside is, remember, the scenario that we have is the for Tesla to come down here and essentially come up, fill the gap, get a little bounce, and then come back up to this all-time high level. Okay, so those are some of the price movement we expect to see, you know, for Apple to kind of you know, do a little bit of a fade tomorrow morning, right? So, you know, because if it open up up here, I'm expecting it to come and maybe fade back down, depending how bad it is, and you know, basically get back down to this 155.98 or 156 level, maybe a chop around here, and then on Friday, then it you know, try to just converge on that 157.50 pin. Okay, so have a good day, and hope your day will be profitable.